Hello everybody, this is Debo at Debo's Movie Reviews here, and this week's review will be Atomic Blonde, directed by David Leitch, starring, of course, Charlize Theron as Lorraine Broughton, John Goodman, Sophia Botella, Jill Schweiger, and James McAvoy. Talking about one of the most iconic action movies of the 2010s, and one I would say one of the best roles Charlize Theron's ever did. Yeah, kind of surprised she hadn't been an expendable. Because, though, honestly, Tom Law is one of the closest you'll get to a good, perfect take on a female Bond. Well, if it wasn't a period piece, I'd say it'd be a good setting for a new franchise. But hey, not every movie deserves a sequel, and this one was great on its own. Don't need sequels, especially since it takes place like the late '80s instead of like early '80s for the Cold War setting in the waning days of it. With whereas the storylines background is spy on a mission to retrieve some microfilm and a Stasi defector right before the wall falls. And I can say, talk about some excellent action scenes and an excellent soundtrack. But hey, any movie about the 1980s is bound to have a good soundtrack because the 80s was pretty much the last great decade for music, in my opinion. I mean, talk about some great songs like "Fight the Power" and "Der Kommissar," which surprisingly they used the After the Fire version instead of the Falco version, which is kind of weird for since Falco was German. I'm surprised they didn't have Hasselhoff's "Looking for Freedom" in the soundtrack, because that would have been a funny fight scene for them from KGB hacks getting their asses handed to them while that song's playing. But then again, Lorraine Broughton's MI6, not CIA, so there's that. Hell, oof. Would it? I gotta say, perfect casting all around with John Goodman being like a M character along with Toby Jones. I mean, it always knocked it out of the park. I mean, just from being Arnim Zola to this movie. Not familiar with most of his work because yeah, you put his face on that infamous Facebook meme of the actors you know the face but you don't know the name meme. And of course, you got to give it to Sophie Botella. It's probably one of the best roles she's done, and practically especially for the second spy movie she's done. Its first being Kingsman, and old McAvoy, he pretty much did a good job as a villain. When throughout the movie you don't expect him to be a villain, you expect him to be like an ally or something, and of course with the whole Lorraine Broughton avenging the dead lover kind of trope. Despite, I don't know, yeah, I can say it's a bit more empowering for this decade for to be pansexual though. Not that I have anything wrong with it, but yeah, I'm all for. Hey, that was a good scene though, and I'll give a mention old one scene where the cops and the fire hose weaponry, which of course with this action movie kind of had more hand to hand scenes than gunplay, but a good fair amount given given how Charlize Theron trained for this movie with Keanu, who was making John Wick 2 at the time, and David Leitch made the, if that's how it's pronounced his name, co-directed the first John Wick. And this was his first solo outing. And I gotta give it to McAvoy too, playing a good villain. Because he pretty much knocked it out of the park of villain with the X-Men one. Because I gotta say, his version of Professor X was an asshole. And I really ain't got in the getting a split though, because I'm just not really big into M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. And his type of movies. So yeah, it'd probably be a blue moon before I see me review one of those. But Atomic Blonde, absolute masterpiece. Just epic all around from the beginning chasing the movie till they had that one scene where she's in the airport and she thinks she's meeting some contacts and it's not the real contacts. It had that old car chase scene. Scene, and then which turned led to that one, and then her using a high heel as a weapon. I mean, that thought I was badass. I mean, and of course, with McAvoy, I mean, if he steps up his good guy game, he could be a good Bond and be a candidate for the future Bond in the future. What way in hell? You know, little Charlie Bradley, of course, which is a complete 180 from her character Cypher from the Fast and Furious movies, given she had two iconic action movies at the same year. Which I'm gonna say, as much as I love Fast and Furious, Atomic Blonde's the latter, where she's one of the good guys. Compared to Cypher, who was just one of the most evilest villains of cinema history. And of course, with Atomic Blonde, I had even a fair amount of excellent gunplay I've already mentioned, but overall, and even had that old car chase scene where she still steals the cop car and then get chased by some guys in a sedan, which was supposed to be with her the contact defector, but of course she gets just memorizing that watch thing, and then right when the whole twist when you think McAvoy's character is supposed to be a good guy, but he turns out to be the main villain of all twist. Sorry for a spoiler, but yeah, hell, and that line of "I fucking love Berlin." I'm like, yeah. Yeah, that was like, yeah, for the role of David Percival, who's, I'm gonna say, he was a decent villain, but yeah, he ain't gonna go down top 10 villain history, or especially not in my standards, but he did a good job of it. Overall, I'm gonna give this one about a 5 out of 5. Great acting, great action, great, and of course, great soundtrack. All right, y'all. That'll do it for this week. I'll keep dishing them out. Y'all drop the recommendations in the comments, y'all. All right, y'all. Peace.